Hello and welcome back. Bit to tell you about today, mostly on the sort of game writing side of things. So the sort of styling, the thematics, the sort of things we haven't talked about so much. So the first one is this. I've implemented a new function called Advertise for Tourists. This is a game set in the 17th century. So tourists here mean grand tourists. So people going on the Grand Tour, which is a historical event where people in their 20s from very wealthy backgrounds would spend multiple years touring the world, basically, to seeing royal courts, other things. And I think the idea is we're going to attract someone to your island. From a gameplay mechanics perspective, what that means is that you can attract gold from these people, and this is maybe one of your paths towards victory. So what this means in game, if you have a tour guide item, you get this new option where you can advertise for tourists, and it costs just 20 gold, quite cheap. And what that guarantees is the next time the boat arrives, on top of any other settlers and specialists you might get, you will also get an additional tourist. That means that you can play towards tourism as a gameplay style if you have this. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet. This particular kind of specialist that allows you to attract tourists. Also note, yeah, this is sticking out the end here. Work to do on that. Next thing I implemented was the new rule that applies when you're hit a defeat condition. So in this instance, your island happiness has hit 0. What happens here is that you get a 15% chance to essentially get a do-over. And you get your happiness reset upwards significantly, and you can carry on as before. And the point about this is it encourages people to play into the defeat scenarios. So even if it looks like they're going to lose, play on, because you might get lucky. It's a mechanic stolen from Into the Breach. And finally, I've added some new family characteristics to our list. So I think I've gone through all the possible sort of traits that a family might have when they come to your island that would make them interesting, distinct. So these are narrative hooks. They're also going to tie back into some specific events that'll happen to this family over the course of the story. So we've got new ones. These characters are this family arrives and they're very big into tattooing, which was a thing in the 17th century. We've got a family that arrive. They're very beautiful indeed. We've also got some more professional ones. I've not really finished my research on the 17th century yet, so I think there'll be more professions to add in here. But we've also said, well, what were the sort of hobbies people were into in the 17th century? Pale male is croquet. So it looks like we're going to have a croquet-loving family in the game. I'm going to have to create some narratives around croquet, but that should still be fun. It fits the theme of the 17th century, and it's historically accurate, and I think it's different and interesting. So that's my objective for those. But yeah, I've still got quite a few of these families to create, but I created 10 today. Quite pleased with that. That's today's update. Thanks all for